Hi, folks. Welcome to the 39th presentation hosted by AlmonTravel, CARP, and for tonight, Azamara Cruise Lines, held every Tuesday at 6:30 Atlantic time. As in the past, this presentation is being recorded and will be on the CARP Travel website shortly after. As I do with all of the presentations, I talk a little bit about AlmonTravel's background. We've been in business for a little over 18 years now. Have a number of specialties, one of them being destination weddings down in the Caribbean area. We've done 130 of those, and in the process of investigating resorts for their suitability for weddings. Every time we go down there, we make a point of visiting 4 or 5 different resorts to check them out. We know quite a bit about the resorts in many of the areas down in the Caribbean area. And we use that, of course, for not only destination weddings, but for anybody that's interested in a Caribbean vacation, whether an adult only or a family. And of course, particularly interested in checking things out for extended family vacations as well. What's happening more and more lately is intergenerational travel, where grandparents will take their children and their grandchildren down with them. We have lots of experience with booking groups and can do that for you. We are also Florida specialists. We were with a particular interest in theme parks, and again, extended family vacations in that area. We can certainly help out because we visited all of the major theme parks, including in Florida, including Disneyland in California. So we know we have experience with that and can certainly help you set up a trip with that as well. River cruises is another major specialty for us. We've done 10 different itineraries around the world, 2 in Vietnam, 1 the Red River and 1 the Mekong with Cambodia. We've also done the Yangtze River in China. We've done the Nile in Egypt. We have done the Douro in Portugal, and we've done several European river cruises as well. And one interesting one that we've done, which I really enjoyed a lot, was a Mississippi River cruise on an old stern, actually not an old, a stern whaler, which was quite a fascinating experience. So we can help you with booking river cruises as well. Ocean cruises, as we're going to be looking at today, we've experienced a lot of the popular routes. We've done the Mediterranean, we've done a cruise around the UK, we've done Alaska, we've done Hawaii, we've done 3 Caribbean itineraries, and actually have done a cruise from Auckland, New Zealand to Sydney as well. So again, lots of experience there and can certainly help you with an itinerary that you might be interested in. Coach tours kind of rounds things out. We can arrange a coach tour of wherever they're offered by major companies like Trafalgar or Globus, or even local companies, to do something in the Maritimes if that's more comfortable for you. So travel conditions, every week I do this, I find new changes and usually for the better. I have just received word from my insurance companies that they are now offering COVID protection, which is very important, obviously, in these times. So, and I'm talking more and more with people who have been actually out of the country and asking what their travel experiences were, not so much on the destination, but the actual boarding of the plane and preparing for the trip and then preparing to come home. As a matter of fact, our presenter tonight, Margarita, is going to be talking a little bit about her trip to Greece when I introduce her. So travel conditions are changing. They're getting better, and I'm pleased with that. And I do see a return to a normality of travel in the not too distant future. AlmonTravel is associated with CARP Nova Scotia. And that's through our friend and colleague, Bill Van Gorder, who is on the executive of CARP Nova Scotia and also CARP National. Bill and I worked together on one of his charities, something that he co-founded with another gentleman called 100 Men Who Give a Damn. And over a period of 3 years, we raised about $400,000, which every penny went to the charitable organizations, I'm very proud to say. So in the course of my being involved on the board there, I grew to know Bill quite well. I booked a couple of trips for him, a river cruise and a cross Canada trip with a Rocky Mountaineer and as a result of the service he got for that, he asked us if we'd be interested in acting as the official travel agency for CARP. And of course, we're very happy to do that. Right now, I'd like to introduce Margarita Peloso, who is the Eastern Business Development Manager for Azamara Cruises. She's going to be talking a little bit about what this premium cruise line offers, with a particular look at some transatlantic tours. So I'll turn this over to you now, Margarita, if you would like to take over, and perhaps I invite you to talk a little bit about your experiences traveling recently yourself.
Sure. Well, Danny, thanks for this opportunity. I understand where you're coming from about people. It's not necessarily at this point in time, as things start to open up, about the destination itself, but more about what to expect when you leave the country. We were lucky enough to go to France and Greece, and we just got back a week ago. And I gotta say, for all the grief that it was leading up to the event, it was most certainly worth it. The grief was my own doing. It was not something that was sort of thrust upon me, but all I would say is make sure that you understand what the protocols are for the country that you are going to. In France, we needed to sign an affidavit that basically said that we were COVID-free and had been vaccinated. We also got a QR code from the French government, although out of the 4 of us who were traveling, 1 of us did not receive that. But that was not an issue. All we had to do was show proof of vaccine in order to get into the Louvre, to get up the Eiffel Tower, to go into the restaurants and so on. What I did find is that it's universal. Everybody's wearing masks. There are hand sanitizers everywhere. And I never at any point in time felt somewhat confined or overcrowded, and it was a safe environment. Going into Greece, we had our PLF, which is the personal locator form. We also required absolutely everywhere to show proof of vaccine. And getting out of Greece, we had a PCR code that was taken and had the Arrive Can app. And I don't think you can get back into Canada without it. They absolutely want to see it as soon as you come in. But that being said, we flew from Athens to Toronto, and it was probably one of the fastest and easiest custom screenings that I have ever had experienced. So very, very on the ball. They've got the customs forms, computers ready to go. And as soon as you have that, the process was probably from start to finish 20 minutes. So really, really an easy process to go through. So that is my experience traveling. And I have the privilege of working with Azamara, and we are a boutique cruise lines. And I'm just going to start this presentation talking a little bit about who Azamara is and what makes us a little bit different. So why Azamara? Our slogan really is we connect people to people, people with cultures, and people with themselves, enabling them to look at life with a new perspective. So we focus on destination immersion, and how we do that is we get closer to the heart of the destination, and we're able to do that because of the size of our ships. Our ships are 30,000 gross tons. Might not mean a lot to you unless you are familiar with naval vessels. However, know that we do carry at a maximum 700 guests. We have a crew of 408, which means our crew to guest ratio is very low. So it's 1.7 guests for every crew member. And that translates into a remarkable experience while you are on board. The crew get to know you, they get to know your name. what you like, where you like to sit, and it really does enhance the experience while you are on board. Because our ships are smaller, we are able to get to ports of call that the other ships, the larger ships out there, are simply not able to get to. You will find that we do go up some rivers. In Sevilla, we actually get into the heart of Sevilla rather than docking in Cadiz. When we go into St. Petersburg, we go right up the Neva River and we dock right beside the Hermitage. So those sorts of experiences, the larger ships simply cannot get to. The other thing is with our destination immersion, we stay longer in ports. We consider any stay in port after 8 p.m. is a late night stay. We have more overnights than other brands out there. And in fact, 50% of our calls are either late night or overnight stays. And we like to focus on country intensive voyages. So as we talk about Sevilla, Spain, our Spanish intensive voyage will start in Lisbon and end in Barcelona. But when we go into Sevilla, we actually go up the Guadalquivir River. We dock right in the heart of the town. So you can end the evening with a beautiful paella, with a glass of Rioja wine. And then as the sun rises, go out and have churros con chocolate. So it's just a great transition from daytime to night, nighttime to day, and you get to experience more about the culture, meet more about the people, and really immerse yourself in that culture. Keep in mind, Azamara has inclusive amenities. So we do include gratuities, we include all food and beverages. And when I say beverages, it's not just wine and beer with lunch and dinner. It is throughout the ship, throughout the day. So you can have a choice of white, sparkling, or red wine, as well as imported beers and premium, or so not premium, but spirits as well. So if you like to have that rum and coke or perhaps the scotch at the end of the evening, those are included as well. We do have cultural evenings. We have, I will touch on our bright night events. Our As Amazing evenings is very, very popular. People love to come back for those events. And if we don't get as close to the heart of the destination as we would like to, we do offer a shuttle service, which means you don't have to contend with public transport. You don't have to try and find a taxi to get you back to the port. So that shuttle service is huge peace of mind as well. We started back in the waters in August of this year after having been away for 18 months with the Azamara Quest. So she went from Glasgow to Cadiz, had a bit of an overhaul, changed some carpeting, repainted. So she looks like a brand new vessel, and started doing 7-night Greece intensive voyages on the 28th of August. We have had some amazing responses, which I will share with you from people who have sailed on the Quest. The journey went back on the 13th of October, doing a 12-night Greece intensive voyage, and the Pursuit will be coming back into service in January with South Africa. We have a fourth ship called the Azamara Onward, and she will be joining our fleet after a full refurbishment, transitioning from her old brand to ours. So we have 4 identical ships, and she will be joining the fleet on May 2nd, 2022, with a fantastic Italian itinerary going from Monte Carlo to Venice. So how do we make sure that we are sailing safely? We have a program called Explore While at Sea, and we want to ensure the safety of our guests as well as our crew. And in order to do that, we are requesting everybody who comes on board our vessels are vaccinated against COVID-19. We do screenings prior to sailing. We make sure that all symptoms are reported. We've upped our cleaning protocols. So our cleaning protocols have always been top-notch, highly recommend or recognized throughout the industry. But what we are doing now is using medical grade cleaning standards and ensuring that the crew are properly trained and enhanced training on those touch points. We've updated our HVAC system to ensure that all air on board our vessels are 100% fresh filtered air in staterooms as well as public rooms. And we have updated our medical capabilities, so much so that our medical center has actually increased in size, taking staterooms adjacent to the medical center in case we do need to isolate any guests who may show symptoms of COVID. But we're also using that space to do testing on board. And we do have a dedicated infectious control officer on each of our vessels. So one of my colleagues was recently on the Quest, and she shared some photographs of her experiences of the check-in as well as the debarkation. So I wanted to share that with you, just so that you are aware that we do screening prior to boarding. So everybody has received a COVID test results, and then they proceed to the Azamara check-in desk. From there, they have a muster station. We're calling it Muster 2.0. So we're not doing the typical muster stations where everybody goes to their staterooms, grabs their life jackets, and goes to their muster station, because we need to social distance. So if you are traveling with a small party, then you will all go together. If you're traveling as a couple, you will be told where your muster station is. They go through all of the protocols on what we do for muster drills. Then you will receive your room key and be escorted to your stateroom. So it is a very easy, seamless transition from check-in, from receiving the screening, the COVID tests, right up to embarkation. And then debarkation, of course, we do the COVID testings for everybody to properly return to their homes. And we have antigen tests on board, and probably just before the Quest went back to service, we had protocols so that we are able to do PCR tests specifically for Canadians, which is where I'm based, but that was our concern, is that we had PCR tests on board as well. So Azamara is not charging for these tests, which is fantastic. So what we will do is, when you get on board, we give you a time to go down to either the library or to the lounge area and have your COVID tests. You will get a QR code from pre-boarding in order to ensure that you have the right times. And then the test results are provided to you in your staterooms by the end of that day. So you know that you can safely return without issues and upload that onto your ArriveCan app. So these are some of the comments that we have been receiving. One of them is a physician saying that the protocols are safe and they felt safe on board. A lot of comments that we are hearing are about our crew as well. I'm going to try and show you a quick video about one of our returns to sail. It is narrated by our president, Carol Cabezas, and if it doesn't work, we will just move on. But let's try this and see if we can get this to work.
Higher once again.
Well, it's just giving you a little bit of a taste of what happens on board and the protocols that are in place and how well they are being received. But the number one comment that we are hearing time and time again is the reaction and the flexibility of our crew. So the crew is the heart and soul of Azamara. They are an incredible team. They come from 50 different countries. And when we talk about our crew, we're talking about the officers to the hotel and restaurant managers to our entertainment crew. They really are a tight-knit group. They are incredibly welcoming, and they consider each other family. So when you come on board our ships, the first time you come on board, you may be considered a guest, but after that, you are considered family, and you will often hear on the embarkation day, welcome home. So the home is a little boutique hotel at sea, and we're going to do a quick little review of what it looks like on board so you have an idea. We do have 10% of our inventory are inside staterooms, but then we have the ocean view with a beautiful picture window. The majority of our staterooms are the club veranda, and I love being in a stateroom that has that veranda or a balcony so that you can take your morning coffee out there, have your toast as you're pulling into the destination. But at the end of the evening, there's nothing like stargazing from your balcony before bed with perhaps a nightcap. And it is just a fantastic way to close off a day. When we get into the suites, we do have additional amenities for guest suites, from butler service to complimentary Wi-Fi minutes, complimentary laundry facilities, and 1 bag of laundry per suite for every 7 days, and complimentary dining in our specialty restaurants. When you get into the club owner suites or ocean suites or club spa suites, which are top end suites, we also offer onboard credits. So it's more than just the amount of space, the living space that you have. It is those additional amenities as well that people really do focus towards. And one of the things that I have noticed about working with Azamara is we tend to sell out of the suites before any other category. So if you're hooked on traveling with that butler service, with all of those additional amenities, make sure you're booking out in advance in order to avoid disappointment. Talking about dining, we can't talk about cruising without talking about dining. We have fantastic dining facilities. We've got a number of different venues. The most popular is our main dining room, which is Discoveries, which has breakfast, lunch, and dinner service. It's all tableside service with the linen tablecloths, indulging in a world of flavors. Our chefs love to incorporate the essence of the destination into the food and drink menus, giving you a taste of the land before you step ashore. Our atmosphere on board is country club casual, so there's no need to pack ties or high heels unless you're celebrating something and you want to. And then absolutely, you will not feel out of place if that is your preference. We do have 2 specialty dining rooms on board, Prime Sea, which is a steakhouse, and Aquilina, which is an Italian seafood. In the middle, you'll see Prime Sea. And there is, just behind these orange flowers, the chef's table, and that is a more in-depth dining experience. Everything is sort of complemented with flights of winery. And again, definitely book those ahead of time. For Prime Sea and Aquilina, we do have a surcharge. It's only $30 per person. Each of them feature 4-course menus with a selection of sumptuous wines. So book that as soon as you get on board in order to avoid disappointment, because these intimate dining rooms are limited seating, and we would like everybody to have a chance to experience that. We also have a Mosaic Cafe, great for morning coffees, but also specialty coffees and tea throughout the day. Windows Cafe does have a buffet style breakfast and lunch, and what we would like to let you know is that we are going to continue with the buffet service, but rather than serving yourself, we will have our crew making those serving choices for you so that we limit those touch points. We have social distancing as well as on board. And then the patio, which has a great grill and salad bar throughout the day, but in the evening, it turns into an alfresco dining area with linen tablecloths and tableside service. So if you want to experience that dinner under the stars when you're in a warmer climate, definitely go to the patio. Some fantastic cuisine available in the evenings there. Our public spaces, for the size of ship that we have, we've got an extensive fitness facility, which I've got a picture of that here. We also have a spa, which is the Sanctum Spa, and that does have a tranquility of like an oasis of tranquility with state-of-the-art skincare, oceanfront massage sections, and a hair salon. And if you are into fitness, there is lots of equipment. And we also offer onboard fitness and nutrition classes, which have become very popular. When we refurbished our ships after this dry dock, our stores or our Azamara shops have opened up. So they're more of an open feeling rather than going into a tiny little gifts and souvenir area. But it's great for buying souvenirs, but also if you forgot something, any of your toiletry products that you might have forgotten, you'll be able to purchase those on board as well. And our Cabaret Lounge this is where you're going to find the main heart of the entertainment. So our crew on board are incredibly talented. Our cruise directors all have stage presence and are very involved, but you're going to find here Broadway-inspired performances from signature shows to magic and comedy nights. And then we also right now, because of the pandemic, we are bringing local entertainment on board as well to avoid mass goings to outside of the ship. So you're going to find a lot of entertainment in the Cabaret Lounge. We don't have a casino on board. That is one of the things that we found was not being utilized. And so we've converted that casino area into our den. And this is a fantastic lounge available to research where you're going and find out information about the destinations that we are going to be sailing to. The living room, similar to your living room at home, fantastic meeting place before dinner or after dinner. We've got a piano bar, and of course, cocktails are being served throughout the day in the living room. Our pool deck is popular while we are at sea, not so popular when we are at port, but in the evenings, people would like to hang out here, and as I say, stargazing in the evenings while on board is a great experience. But sometimes when we have those late night departures or overnight stays, this is when we would be hosting our bright night events. They used to be called the white night events. We've changed the name, but same sort of feeling. So make sure you pack your white shirt, your white pants, white dresses, and join us on board while we bring the local cuisine and drinks on board and enjoy this festive party. We are not doing our As Amazing evenings at the current moment. We're hoping to bring those back in April of 2022. But in the meantime, we do have our destination celebrations. So again, bringing that entertainment and cuisine and beverages from the destination that we're going to and having a fantastic celebration on board the ship. And this will be going from the pool deck to the living room area to the Cabaret Lounge. So we're really taking over the whole ship at these destination celebrations. In September, we announced our 2023 Europe Voyages, and we also recently announced our the remainder of 2023 up until April of 2024. So if you are planning on booking in advance, we've got lots of options. Normally, we bring out our itineraries about 18 months in advance. So to have them up until 2024 is a real treat because it gets you planning farther in advance, being able to take advantage of better rates as well. So our Europe itineraries for 2023, we've got 95 new itineraries, over 40 countries, 200 ports of call. So if you are looking at doing country intensive voyages, whether or not it's Croatia or bucket lists in Iceland, France, Spain, Greece, we've got lots of options. New in 2023 is going to be Israel and Turkey. So we do like to focus on our country intensive voyages, really spending between 7 and 14 days in a specific country. We've got some fantastic itineraries with shore excursions, and as I say, getting into the heart of those destinations, whether or not it's Bordeaux in France or Sevilla in Spain, Dubrovnik in Croatia. Belfast, we do an overnight stay in Belfast as well as Dublin. And of course, Italy, we do an overnight in Livorno, which takes you into the heart of Tuscan region. So there are some fantastic country intensive options for you in Europe, and honestly, nobody does Europe like Azamara. Danny asked me to talk to you about some transatlantic voyages. So we do have in November of 2022, so just over a year from now, a terrific 12-night it's 16 nights, 16-night departure with 7 different ports of call, and we have late night stays. So it goes from Lisbon to Rio de Janeiro, and we do make some fantastic stops here. It is a 16-night voyage beginning in Lisbon, which is one of the world's oldest and most vibrant cities. It's a perfect place to immerse yourself in Portuguese culture, whether or not it's film festivals, art exhibits, fashion, or maybe it is history. So there are castles. There is a lot of history in Lisbon. We have a full day at sea where we end up docking in Madeira. So again, with that fantastic Portuguese culture, followed by a day of sailing to the Canary Islands. Let's go and dive in a little bit more. So leaving from Lisbon to Madeira, then we go into the Canary Islands with Santa Cruz de la Palma. The Canary Islands have such a wide arrangement of environments, whether or not it's sandy beaches. Stargazing here is absolutely remarkable. And then going into sort of volcanic sites as well. If you get a chance, definitely try the coffee and the wine in the Canary Islands. It is outstanding because of the volcanic soils that they have. And this is rich in history. It's a place where Christopher Columbus stopped on his way to discovering the New World. So quite a few historic sites that Christopher Columbus went to, whether or not they're cathedrals or other areas, and there is of course a number of different national parks as well. Tenerife, the most popular of Spain's Canary Islands. It's got a rugged coastline, miles of beaches, popular for kite surfing as well as swimming. There's lots of time to be spent on board the ship on a transatlantic. I've done the transatlantic voyage 3 times, and I remember thinking the first time that I was not looking forward to it. And then after that, you just immerse yourself in that total relaxation, disconnecting, enjoying the outdoor environment on the deck, but then as well as experiencing spa facilities. There is the entertainment, and of course, this is when you'll be trying out those specialty dining rooms as well. We go to the capital city, Medellin, considered Cape Verde's answer to the Riviera. From here, we go to, we see, I'm going to say it wrong, Salvador del Baja, which is fantastic place to find out about Brazil in general. And then, of course, our last stop is Rio. So Rio, very famous, of course, for the Christ the Redeemer, as well as which is the 125-foot tall statue of Christ with his arms open overlooking Rio. It is just a truly breathtaking panoramic view of the bay. We have another transatlantic voyage. This one is in March, and it's going in the reverse direction. So going from Miami to Lisbon, and we also do have that stop in Madeira. This one is 12 nights. We have 3 ports, 1 late night stay and 1 overnight stay on the quest in March. The I like doing it the other direction. This way you tend to lose time, whereas the other one you gain time. So your nights seem to be just a little bit longer when you go westward versus eastward. Both of these sailings do have the early explorer sailings, and that actually will give you 20% off plus the free Wi-Fi, plus an onboard credit and the premium beverage package. So reasons to be thinking about booking these 2022 savings at this point in time. So the Miami to Lisbon route, we do stop in Funchal, Madeira. We do have quite a few days at sea as well, and then landing up in Lisbon, Portugal. So Lisbon is really historical site. There is UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which is the tower that you see here. It's portrayed as a symbol of Europe's age of discoveries. And I do encourage you to, if you're able to, spend a little extra time by doing a post excursion in Portugal. We have some great offers right now. This offer is what we're calling our fall promo. It is only available until the end of the month. I do have with some confidence, knowing that we may be extending it until November 15th. It is 20% off on select sailings, and there are 124 select sailings between 21 and 22, which will earn you 20% off plus a $500 onboard credit, plus the premium beverage package. And that's in addition to our gratuities, our exclusive cultural events, and the shuttle services as well. For our 2023 and the beginning of the 2024, we have that early booking bonus, which is again 20% off, plus free Wi-Fi, onboard credit, and premium beverage package. This one you have some time to continue saving because these are available on any veranda, stateroom, or suite accommodation, but it has to be booked by August 31st, 2022. So quite a bit of time to take advantage of those early booking bonuses for 2023. And we just announced last week that we have some last minute voyages. So if you're looking to get away this winter, we have the Caribbean, some fantastic Caribbean sunsets, and the Caribbean Breezes itineraries, where we're going into places like Nevis, St. Kitts, and St. Bart's. We have a departure from Philipsburg, Saint Martin that doesn't leave until 10 p.m. So again, seeing that transition from daytime to nighttime. And these pricings are in US dollars, but if you call Danny, he'll be able to cut you those rates in Canadian dollars. And so anything from an interior stateroom, and as I say, we tend to sell out our suites early, so you'll see that some of these sailings, the suite accommodations are simply not available. We do have single supplements. We like to call them our solo rates. I was talking to Danny just before this presentation. This came out at 4 o'clock today, so you are one of the first to know about it. We have the 3 ships, the Journey, the Pursuit, and the Quest, offering 2021 and 2022 voyages with single supplements as low as 125%. Normally when we have these single supplements, they start at 150% to 175%. So to see so many dates available at 125%, if you do like to travel on your own, definitely reach out to Danny and inquire about that, because they won't last long, I am sure of that. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this back off to Danny and see if we can highlight anything that that he would like to discuss.
Thank you very much, Margarita. Yes, it's a very enjoyable presentation. I've learned a lot myself on this cruising with Azamara. So cruising has been a very popular form of travel, but it was, very hard hit by COVID. and is making every effort, and as you and I discussed just before this presentation started, to ensure that when people start regularly sailing, that there's not going to be problems, because you want to start up again and make sure that everything goes right. I think that's very, very important. I do have,
as I say, we've had such a robust comments coming through on our social media sites, as well as emails to our support team about how safe people do feel on board. So we're really, really happy to hear that.
Oh, that's great. Great to hear. Some notes that I took from your presentation, I'd like to sort of bring them up and enhance them a little bit. I really like the idea of the size of your ship. I've been on large ships, not the most recent ones that are small cities, but I like the idea of being able to get into ports that are not normally available to large cruise ships. That really opens up a new world of possibilities there. So that's great. Longer times in port, that's wonderful. I recall on some of our cruises, even if you take a cruise mandated excursion, usually there's a little bit of time after that where you might be able to explore what's close to the port, but you're always looking at your watch and saying, oh my God, when am I, I got to get back. And I have been in situations where we've gotten back in time, but I've been looking over the railing, watching, families rushing down the dock to try to get on board ship. And in fact, once saw some travelers left behind because they just didn't make it. So, to be able to stay overnight or longer periods of time takes a lot of that worry away, and I think that's fantastic.
The other nice thing, I'm just going to touch on that again, is that a lot of the ships do pull out around the dinner hour. So when you go into these smaller ports, especially when we talk about Greece and Santorini, if you've ever been to the Santorini port, Fira is about 190 meters above the sea level, and you can either take a donkey, you can walk, or you can take the funicular, and there is a rush of people at 5 o'clock trying to get down. We don't leave Santorini till 10 p.m. Then you feel that you have the locals to yourself for 5 hours, and it is just a remarkable transition, right? You're still on your scooter, scooting around, or overlooking the caldera, having your glass of ouzo in complete relaxation, because there's no rush to get back to the ship. So that is a fantastic plus.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. You've got the place to yourself. We actually, my wife and I, walked down the 1,000 steps, which in Santorini, and we discovered down that our knees were not in great shape. So it was an experience we wanted to take, but I wouldn't recommend it to any of my clients. So yeah. So no charge for PCR tests for Canadians. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's a bonus for sure. Yeah. So as far as we have, again, everything's subject to change, right? So, but at this point in time, there is no charge for the PCR tests on board.
Well, that's great, because one of the things that I'm looking at as a travel agent is not only the cost of the trip, but all of those tests that need to be taken and paid for before you leave, and of course they've got to be taken and paid before you come back, and you have to add that into the cost of the trip. It's a fact. No casino, now a den. That's a great idea. I'm not much into casinos myself, and the idea of having another relaxing place to be on board the ship is great. Country-specific cruises, lots of time to get to know a specific country. I was looking at some of the itineraries that you had there, and it's really great. I mean, it kind of reminds me of a bus tour in a sense, or a coach tour, to be able to spend that amount of time, because the cruises we've been on have touched in on a number of different countries, which is great. But to spend that extra time to get to know an individual country is a great option too.
Absolutely.
Transatlantic, it's kind of the best of both worlds. I have some clients who said they really love the cruising experience and love to spend days at sea. Myself, I kind of like the ports. I love to be able to get off and explore a new place and learn about it. but certainly I know that cruise ships nowadays, there's something to do every hour of the day. I did want to emphasize, though, that very important on any cruise, whether it's transatlantic or whatever, if you have things that you want to do, like for instance, spend some time in the spa, good idea to be booking that well in advance, because everybody else is, on the ship there is probably thinking the same idea. So very important to do that. Let's see. Portuguese pursuit, lots of exotic stops on that itinerary. I thought that was fantastic. And the Atlantic pursuit, lots more time at sea. So, you know, again, those people who love the time at sea is certainly something to consider. Solo cruises, you surprised me before the presentation that you're going to be offering more of those. That is something, a form of travel, I think, that is becoming more and more necessary because it's popular. And you know, we hopefully we'll have people that would be interested in that. Typically in the past, what has happened is somebody wanted to travel solo, they paid 200%. So they paid for themselves and a traveling companion, and got their own hotels. Yeah, so it's wonderful to hear that Azamara is recognizing that there, you know, there's a growing percentage of travelers who want to travel by themselves or need to travel by themselves. So that's great. I think that is pretty well everything. I would like to thank you again for your presentation. It was very enthusiastic. I do have to take a minute just to talk about what's happening next Tuesday, so I'll do that right now. Remind viewers of next week's presentation and on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. as we explore different and popular touristic regions of Cuba for off-resort excursions. We have no pre-registration for this, so if you're interested in learning more about Cuba, then you'll just have to go to the CARP website for the login information to attend and just be there at 6:30 next Tuesday. Margarita, I was very impressed with the presentation that you gave this evening. You're very, very knowledgeable, and I just found myself kind of entranced by the information that you were passing along, and wondering when my next opportunity to cruise might be on Azamara. So I want to thank you very, very much.
Soon. So yeah, no, we're very excited to be back, and we're very excited about our fourth ship, the Onward, coming out in May. So there's lots of opportunity, and we hope we can welcome you and your clients on board soon.
Let's hope. Thank you again very much.
Thanks so much, Danny. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.